Parents, this is serious. You get tested. Let your children get tested. Let us all be able to see the next year and many, many years to come, not as sick people, but as healthy people. We can do something about this. So please, let us get tested. Let us get vaccinated. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Thank you very much. And I do want to remind people that if the antibody treatment can be in a shortage, I hate to say it, vaccines can be in a shortage. Wouldn't it be sad if you missed out and waited and someone said, you know what, we have just ran out. We've just run out of Pfizer. We've just run out of Moderna. We've just run out of the doses for children. We have just run out of the the medicine that you need. I don't see why people are waiting. So I'm very delighted to have Representative Ron Reynolds. He'll be in the upcoming leadership in the next state legislative session. We're grateful for the work that he's done previously and grateful for his leadership. And he has a special guest with him as well, and she's my friend. So I'm going to be calling on her. I hope she's been listening to what we've been saying, but she's really an example of who we're trying to get, a 13-year-old that realizes that going back to school, she's going to do something very important. And I do want to remind her, I want to remind the children that your memory, you may not remember it, but you did get vaccinated because you got good parents. So you have been vaccinated before, and look at you now. And so that's why we're glad that you're here. Representative Reynolds, thank you for your leadership as well.
Thank you, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. And let me just say, first of all, it's great to be here in the 18th Congressional District. We thank you for your leadership. We're also grateful to be here with my colleague and the Dean of the House, Chairwoman Sophronia Thompson. And I also am so grateful for the leadership of HISD trustee Kathy Bluford Daniels, who's been a long friend. And you're right, I do have a special guest with me today, and she is going to introduce herself and tell you why we are here collectively.
Hi, my name is Reagan Reynolds, and I'm here to get my vaccine. The reason getting the vaccine is important is because when you get the vaccine, you're not only protecting your life, but you're protecting lots of other people's lives, too.
Is that great?
That's right, that's right. So we are here, and we are encouraging other people to make sure that you get vaccinated. So many people are at risk right now that don't have to be. This is something that is free. This is something that's based on science, and this is something that is saving lives. And even when there are breakthrough cases and that people do get the Omicron or some other variant, being vaccinated helps them to not be hospitalized, not end up in ICU. So thank you, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Thank you, HISD. We are so grateful for this opportunity that we traveled across town to be here, and we thank you so much. And we encourage every parent, every student to get vaccinated before school starts back. God bless you.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so very much. Let me emphasize that the more people that get sick with COVID, that is going to decrease the number of people that can go into the hospitals who are in need of surgery, who are in need of service and other medical conditions, particularly our cancer patients, stroke patients, heart patients. That is what is happening. So let me be very clear that it is very important for you to know that we're pushing every way to get our children vaccinated. Thank you. And just want to indicate to you that the FDA is expected, knowing how devastating Omicron is to broaden the ages of those who can get their booster shot, and they will be announcing soon the eligibility of ages 12 to 15. I'm sorry, ages starting at 12 years old, so 12 and above, meaning she could get her booster shot. She will be eligible for a booster. So that's the first, second, and then the booster shot. So that's another thing for parents to be aware of, to be knowing that you will be able to get a booster shot, because Omicron is very questionable as to whether or not it is completely barred with only 2 shots. That's why we've got to wear masks and keep our distance. The booster shot is needed by all adults, but the first shots, the second shots, are needed by our children starting at age 15. Starting at age 15. and someone who knows about children of all ages and will be facing the question of what we do if there is a pandemic breakout of sizable proportions in our school district. We have heard the commitment of our superintendents. We're standing with them, but we know that they, because of their teachers and bus drivers, as Representative Thompson has said, and cafeteria workers, they're going to have to be concerned. We're delighted to have the trustee for this area, Kathy Buford-Daniels.
Thank you, Congresswoman, and thank you, State Rep Thompson, Ms. T, State Rep Ron Reynolds. Thank you to our minister leadership. Thank you for our representative from District B. We're here because of the importance of having our communities vaccinated. We started the slogan last year, don't wait, vaccinate. It still, unfortunately, it goes over to this year. Don't wait, vaccinate. And as was already mentioned, once we go back into school in next week, then we have to be considerate that those children returning to school, to campuses, have to go back to their families. So we want as many people vaccinated to minimize the spread as possible. As I stated before, the children over here, particularly on the Northeast, have been the most impacted as far as learning loss, which is even more important that our children and our parents get vaccinated so we can keep these kids in class so that they can try and catch up on what was already lost last year. COVID is here, but we as individuals, intelligent individuals, have to do our best to come out and get ourselves vaccinated. Don't wait, vaccinate.
Thank you so very much. Before we call on our pastoral community, I certainly want to acknowledge Councilmember Tasha Jackson. I know that she is hardworking, but also taking care as she should. And Rain Eatman, I can't thank you enough for your presence here today. Let's give her a very applause. Rain is ever ready, ever positive, and I thank her so very, very much. We're going to call on UMCC now to come forward. Yeah, and talk about the children that you've been doing. That is the emphasis that we've been wanting to do, and you did a lot of children yesterday. And they might have been crying, but you all handled it well. Thank you so very much for your work.
Thank you, Congresswoman. We're very happy to be here yesterday, today, and reluctantly we did vaccinate quite a few children. First time. I'm very happy to be a part of that. We're all a team, happy to save lives. Thank you. Thank you, Congresswoman, for putting this on.
And they're
It's very successful.
They're better for it, having been vaccinated.
Yes, ma'am.
If they did cry a little bit, if you did cry a little bit, they still made it through?
They made it through because we've got a wonderful lady here. She brought candy for them. Made it a little sweeter.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Skip to him.
Thank you.
Thank you. These are nurses who like to get back to doing their job, so we are greatly appreciative of them. And we've got, as I said, we've got 2 activities going on. Testing, you can drive through, but you can get vaccinated with all of the vaccinations, including your children starting at 5 to 11-year-olds. We're delighted to work with the ministerial leadership in Northeast. They have never stopped feeding, holding hands, getting and helping to get people tested and then vaccinated, and as well encouraging the people of this community to be here. And we thank Reverend Morrison, President Morrison, for being here as well. Thank you.
Thank you. To our Congresswoman, to our state representatives, to our school board trustee, community leaders here, and my comrade, Pastor Arthur Wiley, I want to say publicly that I believe the Lord has great, great rewards for tireless workers like Sheila Jackson Lee. I want to say publicly that even Jesus said that whatever you do to the least of these, you have also done unto me. And Congresswoman Lee, the Lord has great reward for you in heaven. To this I will also say, as one who lives in this community, who pastors in this community, whose children go to school in this community, that you do not love me, you do not love my child, and you do not love your fellow man if you can be in my presence and not know your status or whether or not you're positive for COVID-19. Jesus said, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. If I love you, then I will be able to say to you assuredly whether or not I'm sick or not. And if I'm sick, I will not be in your presence. This is far beyond a financial issue. This is more than an economical issue. This is a moral issue. This is a moral issue. Please come get tested. Please come get vaccinated. This day is deja vu. Congresswoman Lee and the Ministerial Coalition of Harris County vicinity were on these very grounds this time last year.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
On these very grounds, opening up the first site, the first site in this area, imploring you to come and get tested. At that time, the elderly were reluctant. Now it seems as though our children are reluctant. Our teenagers, our 30-year-olds, our 40-year-olds. Conspiracy theorists have replaced trusted voices in our community. Every time you eat breakfast, you're trusting our government. Every time you drive a car, you're trusting some form of our government. If you can trust them to eat, if you can trust them to drive your car, if you can trust them to wear your clothes or drive on the highways, trust them to vaccinate you. This is the word from the pulpit. Take it as you will. Come get tested, come get vaccinated, all of you.
Are you the only one speaking? Let me have Pastor Wiley join us. I have been to his facilities, or he has been at the leadership of distributing food. You know, we've had some desperate times. I know we're going into a new year, but you all remember how we were giving out food to people who didn't have food. They were on food lines. They didn't have vaccine access. Water, I remember, and we had the freeze on top of the pandemic. And I have seen Reverend Wiley right there at the front lines. Thank you, Reverend Wiley.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, to State Representative Reynolds and Thompson, to School Board Trustee Sister Bruford. We're here because we need all of us to walk together, that we may look forward to a brighter day ahead.
Brighter day.
There are family members that you have a lot of trust in, that you listen to. And many of those family members are saying that not to get vaccinated. I need to tell you that my sister passed from COVID-19. And we encouraged her to get vaccinated. We encouraged her to get vaccinated. We encouraged her family to get vaccinated. And she never did. There are people in our families who talk against getting vaccinated or even getting tested. We need to listen to what the Lord says unto us. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden. And I need to tell you today that we are heavy laden. The world is in trouble. Our city is in trouble. Our government is in trouble because we are not fulfilling our responsibility, not only to ourselves, but to our community. Again, we want to say thank you to Sheila Jackson Lee, our state representative, so Thompson and Reynolds, all the work that you do. And we want to say keep up the good work. For the task is not over yet.
we are so grateful to you. What a brilliant word about hearing wrong voices, even though we love them. I couldn't let a businessman, and when I say this name, you all will know of the historic nature of his family. I'm glad that he drove from way, way away where he is now. But you don't recognize him. I've been with the family for more than they've been with them, but I can't say 100 years, but they've been around for 100 years. And this is Ron Jemison, Franklin Beauty School. And you know that the beauty culture is always with people. I couldn't have him leave without getting his word. He got a hip-hop word, he got a Franklin Beauty School word, he got a businessman word, and I need him to speak. We have been together, and 22 we're going to get together even more, working with his beauty conglomerate. It's not an it's a conglomerate. So, Ron Jemison.
Thank you, Congresswoman, for putting me on the spot today. But I came out, I heard her on the radio today, and I had to come out and get my test and also get my booster as well.
All right, yay!
So, of course, we want to encourage everybody out there to come out and get your vaccination. Make sure you get vaccinated, especially since we're going back to school next week. We want all the kids and families to be safe and everything. So this young lady is doing a whole bunch of hard work with all of her team. And we want to thank the city of Houston and thank Congresswoman for doing what she does. Thank y'all very much.
Listen to Ron Jemison. He's a businessman. He's got legacy. Thank you so very much. And he got his booster. He sent a note to me saying, I'm getting boosted today. Right. Give him a very big hand. We want Rain to make some announcements, but I do need to do this. Sometimes when you put two issues on the table, but I need my representatives to work with me. And this is unique to our community, and we have no shame. We have family members in our community and other communities that are incarcerated.
That's right. That's right.
During the holiday season, our family members try to see each other.
My Lord.
I want you to know that the quietness that you do not hear does not mean that Omicron and COVID are raging inside the prisons.
That's right.
We have to be concerned about loved ones and family members as well. So I am making an important addition to my crisis.
Yes.
Is that federal prisons,
That's right.
COVID is raging.
Yes.
In the state system,
Yes.
they are not far behind. In fact, they have their challenges. In the Harris County Jail,
Yes. Yes.
there is not enough personnel, and COVID-19 is there. I will be addressing this. I want to report the level of COVID because our families are making those bus rides, are making those visits to be able to see loved ones.
That's right.
But also, loved ones have not been given a death sentence. They've been incarcerated.
Right.
The workers at the prison and the jails have not been given a death sentence. They have a job.
That's right.
And so we must be very diligent to look in all of the places to ensure that while we may feel comfort, that there are not people who are suffering. And so that will be a task that I would like my two representatives to join me on to determine, do we need to ramp up? Remember, we ramped up testing in the jail. Do we need to ramp up testing at TDC? I will be determining about the Federal Bureau of Prisons, wanting a full report on the status of COVID, because those are places where family members are hoping that their loved ones get rehabilitated, are not hospitalized. And so we must be cognizant of those concerns. In our community, there are all levels of individuals, and we must take care of all of them. We have children whose parents or a parent is incarcerated. And when I say our community, the whole city and county.
That's right.
It does not come to one group over another. So it is extremely important. We have children from undocumented persons who may be nervous. And let me be very clear. We ask, there's no status question asked here. We just want you to get vaccinated. Public health requires every person to be vaccinated, every person to be tested. That's why we're here And we're very glad that we're working with Councilmember Jackson and State Rep Reynolds, Dean Thompson, that Rain out of Councilmember Jackson's office wants to announce some other sites that are days after today that will be open.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much again, Congresswoman, and thank you to all of the representatives who have been working in this concerted effort to make sure that our communities get vaccinated and tested. I do just want to reiterate that the City of Houston is in step and stride with all levels of government, and we do have several vaccination sites in our multi-service centers. And so we are asking that if you are not able to reach one, there are several around you near in your community. So please feel free to reach out to the Houston Health Department's website so that way you can see where our standing vaccination and testing sites are, as well as where our pop-up sites are going to be. We work very diligently to work with community members who know exactly where their more reluctant community members are, so that way we can bring it to them and reassure them in partnership with all of the other governments that we are here to help them and to give them a better quality of life through these vaccinations and through these tests. And so we just want to give you that information. Please visit the Houston Health Department website so that way you can find the nearest multi-service center and vaccination site near you. Thank you again.
Thank you so very much. We are working at all levels of government. That's why I know that my partners will help me with the jail situation to make sure, and that our HISD school district. Let me just emphasize that there's Spring, there's ISD, there's Spring, there's Klein, there's Aldine, there are Cypress. I know I'm leaving out some, but there are many school districts. They all are confronting the same question. Humboldt, correct, and many different communities will be facing the idea of what's happening with children. You said another one? Sheldon, of course, Pasadena, Kip and Yesprek and Fort Bend, among many, many others that I'm sure that we've left out. They will have to be confronting with children who are coming back from different locations, family members that are coming back from different locations that we'll have to deal with, college students who are here having to go back as well, who hopefully enjoyed the season. Like I said, I want to leave, and then I'm going to open up the question. I want to leave just this. You are getting a call every day saying, I've been exposed. Somebody has exposed me. It's every day. Every day. And I'm sure you have it, and you're not coming up here or going somewhere. Because the doctors are saying, the scientists are saying, and let me just speak on behalf of hospitals that I have spoken to directly. Let me just be very clear. The number of adults and young adults in the hospitals are unspeakable. You're not seeing the exposure that you used to see back in 2020, but they are in there, and they are in hallways again now. They're in hallways. They're sick enough that they don't have beds, and they're in hallways. Please understand that. And only because someone didn't get tested, just to know, or someone is still trying to controvert the science and not get vaccinated. People are in the hospital as we speak. There are people spending their days of the holiday days in the hospital. My last point, lawyers have, is that there are Americans quarantined in foreign countries who are not able to get back in because of COVID. They have COVID, and they're not able to travel. With that in mind, there is a crisis. Thank you to UMCC. Thank you to the Dean, Representative Sophronia Thompson, whose district we are now in. Thank you to Representative Reynolds' leadership in the State House. Thank you to his wonderful daughter. Thank you to UMMC. Thank you to Reverend Morrison, President Morrison. Thank you to Reverend Wiley. Thank you to Councilmember Tasha Jackson. We appreciate all the work, and thank you to our host, Trustee Kathy Buford Daniels. We are very grateful. Every time we call to be on this side, she is both open and ready, and she is not in any way shy to let you know we're in a center point right here in this Northeast community. So, if there are any questions, yes, sir.
What is your message to those people that are still trying to figure out what to do for tomorrow, New Year's Eve?
My message, one, is that they have a few more hours to get to Forest Brook Middle School, 7525 Tidwell. But if they have not been tested and they have not been vaccinated, With great humility and sense of disappointment, they need to say separated. If they are with family, they need to be masked up, or they need to try to utilize events that are outside. That's how transmissible Omicron is. I don't want to dictate to families, but why don't I put it in this way? If you want to protect your children, if you want to protect senior citizens, and you are not either vaccinated and or tested, you should work as hard as you can to ensure that those you engage with do not get the Omicron variant, COVID-19. We will not have, I think, any sites open publicly on tomorrow and on Saturday. There will be a few sites that will open up again, but that will be after your holiday time. But that may be enough time for you to get children tested before they go back to school on January 3rd. Let us be good family members. Let us be holiday family members by keeping our families safe. Any other question? Well, first of all, we always have to say Happy New Year to the media. They've been faithful. They have been nonstop. Just as we've been out, they've been out, and they never stopped going during the COVID-19. We were not able to get any information unless we saw it through them. So to the gentlemen that are here and the reporters that were here yesterday, we're very grateful to you to ensure that you get going. And I just simply hope some of this will get live streamed because we're here. If they're in line, we will take them whether or not we get to the 4 o'clock time or not. And people are steady coming, and so we hope our numbers continue to just go up. So thank you very much. We are in a crisis. Treatment may be limited right now. In a crisis. Don't just sit back and say, I'll just go to the doctor. Many of us know doctors are not even opening their office. They're telemedicine. They're over the phone. If you have any experience with providers, you know that you're not going and sitting in an office, and so it's not going to be easy access, and emergency rooms are full. That's my clarion call. It is a crisis. The numbers are rising. Protect your children. Thank you. You guys are great. Anybody want